see what happens here. Oh, shit. The Nürburgring for me still is the greatest racetrack in the world, and yet I had to close it.
And that should be good.
I lost sight of that.
27 Grand Prix wins, 3 World Championships, but what actually originally got you into racing, into Formula One?
Well,
what was that route?
My father had a garage, and my brother was a good racing driver.
Yeah.
He drove for Acuria Corse, then he drove for Aston Martin, then he drove for Jaguar cars. Then he had a couple of big accidents and he pulled out, by which time I had gone with him to Goodwood, to Silverstone, well, to other
As a
racetracks.
spectator?
Yes, with him. And a very rich young man, Gary Fowler was his name, wonderful a single boy of a family that was a very successful company making packaging for all of the big companies in Scotland. He was never allowed to race, but he could get great cars.
Why was he not allowed to race?
Well, because he was an only son,
Okay.
and it was a large company which he would inherit, and did. So he had fancy cars, and one of them was, and I looked after them, serviced them, and then one of them crashed the car.
Right, okay.
And I had to repair it. And Gary Pyle, he said to it, Jackie, why don't you have a race? Because I don't like him breaking the car. And I finished second in the first race. And he says, well, you better do it again. And I won the second race. And then it was just a rocket ship.
And you had no prior experience. You weren't doing any practice, or you weren't.
No.
That was purely on natural talent, basically.
Everything was my shooting.
Wow.
And then suddenly he gave me the opportunity to race.
So do you think if that person had never crashed, and you had not got his seat, because you,
I would never have gone
you
racing.
You would have never been a Formula One driver?
No.
Wow.
No,
Well, I
in
guess
those days, nowadays, karting was there. There was no karting in my day. Oh, up, get up, stay. Not bad. Good.
No.
Nearly good. That's good.
Not my best.
So that's par.
That's par.
Well, that's okay for the first hole. Good left-hander.
Amen.
There you go. Is he going off?
No, we're going to go off the back tee.
Going off the back
tees,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. No, I lost sight of that one.
Right on line. So you got Sterling Moss's autograph when you were a kid?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, that's
absolutely.
pretty. That's
and
awesome.
I've still got things in my home.
Yeah.
With Sterling Moss.
That's amazing. I mean, and then you obviously had a friendship with him, and
oh yeah,
and
I was godfather to his only child.
Well, I guess because you had an interesting relationship with him, obviously a good relationship, but actually with you and doing all the safety, procedures that you were trying to integrate into Formula One, he was almost against it.
Very against it. Sterling didn't approve of me trying to make motor racing safer. And it was ridiculous at that time.
What was the reason for that? Was that because it was a man's sport and that's the way he viewed it? It's very macho.
It was his period, which was different than my period.
Right.
But we were losing drivers. I mean, all of my friends are dead that I went racing with. I've got in my home in England, I think I've got 72 benches, and not all of them, but at least 50 will be drivers who I've lost, who I've raced with. Even the time when Niki Lauda had a very big accident, there was nobody there to help. It was the drivers who stopped and got him out of the car, or he would have died.
Wow.
So we closed 2 major racetracks in the world. The Nürburgring for me still is the greatest racetrack in the world, and yet I had to close it because they couldn't possibly afford what was required to have safety.
More people were going to die.
And the medical facilities, when I had an accident in Belgium, there was nobody there, and the medical facility was useless at the racetrack itself. Then the ambulance came along way long after it should have done and got lost. He couldn't find the way to the hospital.
Wow.
So, all of these things made me want to have motor racing safer. Motor racing safety now is fantastic, and at that time when I started it, I had life threats because I was closing
Death
big
threats.
races. Yes. came to my home in Switzerland at the time, knocking the gate open to get to me, and we had to have security.
All because you were just trying to make it safer?
Yeah, because they didn't see the reason for going. You know, they were spectators.
And they wanted to see the drama.
So therefore, it was a difficult period. Certainly, I wasn't the most powerful.
Did it affect your relationship with Sterling going forward, or was
no,
it was
we
never
all
something?
Stayed friends, but he didn't like it.
Professionally, it was something that you differed on opinions.
Come on, it's good putt.
A little bit short.
Bad luck, a wee bit short, but you should be happy with that one. Good one.
Another par.
Very good.
You sound surprised.
Not surprised, because you've been at it for a wee while.
What do you see as the biggest difference between racing back when you were racing in the 60s and 70s and kind of racing now? I mean, I know we touched on it already. The safety aspect is probably the easiest thing to point out, isn't it?
No, I think it's changed very boldly.
Yeah.
Where death was something that took place on a regular basis. I mean, the number of funerals that I went to, I would hate to recall them all.
No, of course. When you got into the cockpit, did you find it hard to have someone die, have a friend of yours, a very close friend of yours, and then you have to now go out and put on your game face mode and just try and put the best lap time possible and try and put it on pole or something?
You had to learn how to deal with it, because death was around every corner. I mean, the number of people, I must have gone to more funerals than anybody else I know.
Yeah.
It's not just the person, it's his family.
Yeah.
His mum and dad. When Jim Clark died, and I'll never forget it, you know, you go from there to straight into another race.
Yeah.
And you just get used to death.
Get left.
Didn't see it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just on the right side of the green.
Wow.
Not too bad. You obviously raced with a lot of amazing drivers in your time. Is there one that stands out as the most talented?
Jim Clark was the best driver of my era, in my view. Smooth, clean. The Lotus car was always a very fast car, but more people lost their lives, I think, in Lotuses at that time. But Jimmy was so clean with his driving, he never overdrove.
Go left.
Oh, fall over.
Didn't see that braking right.
No, you're going to have to putt that one well. Good one.
There we go.
Where's your ball?
Have a go.
Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, go on, let's see what you can do here.
Oh, shit. That's a big mistake. There you go.
Haven't been practicing putting.
You can keep that back.
You had that famous interview with Ayrton Senna in 1990.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Obviously, there was Ayrton thought you were being a bit, coming from a world champion. What was the way that you viewed that whole confrontation with him?
Well, it was the second last Grand Prix of the season. The last Grand Prix being in Australia at that time.
Yeah.
And I was doing television for Australia. Australian television, who I was working for, wanted me to do the interview and get to the bottom of what went on.
Of course, yeah. He was 3 hours late, is what I heard.
Yeah, he took a while. We started the interview and I said, now getting to the story of the last Grand Prix and you securing the World Championship, I believe you did that intensely, didn't you? And he absolutely went apeshit. And didn't want to talk to me anymore, killed the interview. And a year or two later, he phoned me up one day while I was in Australia again, and he said, I want to apologise for what I said to you, but I'd like you to help me. And he wanted to make motor racing even safer.
Right.
And
so he was apologising, saying, I did intentionally crash into Prost.
He never actually said that.
Right, but I guess you could read between the lines.
He agreed with what I had said, that it could have been avoided, put it that way.
Yeah.
And he would call me up anytime he needed some observations, and we worked together very well. So it ended up nicely, but it was very difficult at the time. because I thought that Alan Prost should have won that championship in that particular occasion. But anyway, Ayrton Senna is one of the best drivers in the world, of course, but Alan Prost, as good as he is, I think, in a way.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm trying to avoid this tree.
You're very lucky to have it sitting up like it is.
What? Now I have to hit a good shot because you say I've got a perfect lie.
Good one. Come on, stop. Stop.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Do you have any regrets regarding your Formula One career? Is there any team moves that you should have made? Is there anything that you like? I should have gone to Ferrari. I should have done this. I should have done that.
No, I nearly
went to Ferrari.
For Ferrari. In fact, I signed a contract with Enzo Ferrari for me to participate as number one in the team.
Who was in the team at that time?
Well, more importantly, who was to come onto the team with me?
Oh, okay.
And I was racing Formula 2, and Jackie Hicks was my teammate. A good driver, very good driver, and a good friend now. But he had gone to Ferrari as well. And I had shaken hands with Mr. Ferrari and agreed the deal.
It was just a handshake deal?
Yes, a handshake deal, and of course it would have had to be more than that.
Yeah.
But it would have been followed up. And Jackie said, "Are you going to drive for Ferrari?" I said, "What do you mean?" Because I thought nobody knew.
Okay.
And I said, "Why do you ask?" He said, "Well, Mr. Ferrari tells me that you've asked too much money. And would I drive?" Meaning him. He said, "What do you think I should do?" I said, "You should take it." And I said, "Look, the deal's off." Why? Because you've given Jackie X the same deal. And I said, "That's not on for me."
So you wanted to be the number one driver?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I'm
a world champion.
Yeah, if I was going to be.
But that was important to you. You wanted to be paid more money, number one driver. I want to come in and be the top dog. Was that because you don't believe there could be two number one drivers?
Mr. Ferrari was a fantastic man in many ways, but he was an unusual man.
Okay.
And there was too many ifs and buts.
Right.
And from my point of view,
too complicated.
That was a bad thing, even before we started to drive racing cars. Good one. Come on,
Lucas.
Oh.
That was rubbish. See, that's the stuff. I'm not playing golf as frequently as I used to, and I make those silly mistakes. You lose that touch.
Is that your excuse?
That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm going with.
Yes. Oh. Hang on, I want to see that one now. Whoa, well done.
All right. Well, it wasn't
good save.
Wasn't good. Well, I made a bogey, but it is what it is. So you retired at the age of 34.
Yep.
After 99 Grand Prix, which, how did you know it was time to stop?
I was burned out. I just was doing too many races. I'd be going to Australia, I'd be going to Timbuktu, because it was big money, and I was world champion, so therefore at that time, they would want me to go, and with relationships like the Ford Motor Company, for example.
Was there the element of, I'm 34, like you said earlier, a lot of my friends have passed away and haven't made it out alive. I've made it out the other side. Let's count my eggs here and let's move on. Yes,
and when you have good relationships, with Rolex, for example, they like me to be racing. And of course, I'm still with Rolex after all these years. I think 1968. In my mind, it was the time for me to retire. And it was exactly the right decision. I kept going to Grand Prix. I love the sport still to this day. But I'm sure that I stopped at the right time. I've stayed in the sport. I'm still in the sport.
Absolutely.
I still go to the events. I still love the sport, and it's better today than it ever was.
You don't stop. I don't think. Do you think you'll ever retire?
What's that?
Exactly. And I can't imagine you retiring. I don't think it suits you. Oh no, not my best.
No, that one won't work. In the woods.
Yeah, it's all right. It came out to the left. I got lucky.
Was it kicked out?
Yeah. The last race of your career was obviously bittersweet. Obviously, you're ending your career at your 100th Grand Prix. You were attempting to do, and then, trying to pass the torch over to your teammate Francois Sever.
Correct.
And then one of the most, horrible things happens and he has a crash in qualifying. Tell me about that weekend and your last Formula One weekend.
Well, we had gone to Watkins Glen with your grandmother. Helen and I went there because Helen didn't know that I was going to retire.
You didn't want her counting down the...
No, because so many of our friends had died.
Did anyone know? Just her, just Ken?
Ken Tyrrell knew, one other man at Ford, and that was it.
Did Francois know?
I didn't want anybody.
Not even Francois knew?
No.
He didn't know?
He never knew. I never told him no, more than anything else. But we already, Ken Tyrrell and I had obviously decided that it would be he who would be the #1 driver.
Yeah.
And he was a great friend of mine as well, one of the best pals I've ever had. And it was going to be my last Grand Prix. Watkins Glen was glamorous, tremendous crowds there. Huge accident he had. And I knew what had happened, the little undulation on the track, and I had had it myself and I knew where it was.
In the same corner?
On the same corner.
Wow.
And I was one of the last ones out. So when I came round, of course, all the other drivers had stopped and had all rushed down to see if they could help, and we all did. And I went down and Francois was already dead. I was going to retire the next day, which was the Grand Prix day. And I wasn't to be, so I only did 99
You felt it was appropriate to not race in respect to Francois?
I had decided that wasn't the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I suppose you're not the first man who's been in the...
No, I think I'm probably not the first man that's been in the trees.
That's a good one. That'll do. Huh?
You see the boots, the welly boots?
Oh yeah, my God, I've never seen those. They weren't there when I was there.
Oh no, right.
No, it's going to be too far right.
Ah.
In the bunker, I suspect.
Oh no.
Oh, a bit far, that one.
Where's that bunker?
In the bunker. Come on, up, 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 up.
Not good.
I'm afraid we're not going to be particularly successful in this.
I don't think so.
My money was on you. It's very serious. Good boy, nearly it. No, I'll give you credit for that one.
Not too bad.
Good one.
We're going to do some quick fire questions. So I'm going to ask you questions. You're going to try and answer in the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
In a quick way. If you weren't a Formula One driver, what would you have been?
A second-rate golfer.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Making motorsport as safe as it could possibly be. It has done tremendous progress in that area, but there's always risk.
What would your death row meal be?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti bolognese?
Yep.
Lovely. Who was your favourite James Bond? I think I know the answer to this.
Sean.
Sean Connery.
He was the best.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Wonderful Bond, really terrific, and a great friend. So the two of us, being Scottish, we had a lot of time together. He used to come to races, came to Monte Carlo with me, and sat beside me doing the ABC's Wide World of Sports in the Monaco Grand Prix.
Amazing.
It was great fun, and he was a wonderful man.
What is one thing you would love to tell your younger self?
Don't think beyond your common sense.
In your opinion, who is the greatest Formula One driver of all time?
Juan Manuel Fangio. Wonderful man, wonderful individual. I got to know him as well as I could, even though he couldn't speak English, I couldn't speak his language either.
Yeah.
Argentinian. Wonderful man. Carried the sport magnificently. Smooth and clean. Just the best.
He was an amazing guy, yeah. Amazing, amazing. Well, look, guys, thank you very much for watching today's video. It's been amazing. Thank you very much, Papa, for joining me. It's been on this cold day here in Geneva. But many more guests like this. So please like, subscribe. I think that's what we meant to do. And we'll be sure to see you guys in the next episode. So See you later.
Good one.
Amazing.